Hi everyone! You might be wondering why you're seeing a video game so soon. It's because that's kind of like it's not my main goal to do a whole bunch of, to make this only a video game channel, but it's definitely my goal to play video games on this channel. I thought instead of doing, more videos which are objectively boring saying what I'm gonna do, I might as well just do it. The game we have here, it's Tyranny. It's kind of obscure. You might be wondering exactly why I'm deciding to play this and not something like something popular. Well, I decided to play this because my PlayStation is currently not working, so I can't do something like Bloodborne or Dark Souls or like Fallout 4 or something like that. Things that are easy to capture. So, of course, my PlayStation isn't working, so can't do those. And then I thought of doing Minecraft, but like Minecraft has been done to death. If I ever do Minecraft videos, I guess I'll slap myself on the wrist. But yeah, I decided to go with something unique. I decided to go with something fun, something long, something that I enjoy. The RPG Tyranny. Let's see. This game was developed by Obsidian. Obsidian does amazing work, and they've done amazing work on this game. I've played the first 2 hours, I'd say, and I love it. It's a really good game. It's an RPG. It's one of those deep story kind of RPGs. Player choice matters a lot. It's super fun. So we are actually going to jump right in because this game has a very extensive character creation because of something called Conquest. You'll see it in a minute. I might cut story out. I might cut just a tiny bit of the opening story out because it's not the easiest to follow, but you catch on. So I might cut out opening story if this thing happens to run long. The first episode definitely will be long, but we're just gonna see how this does to start. Yeah, so you might see the story, you might not see the story. Who knows? We're gonna jump right in. We're gonna click new game, and we're back. I know I did cut out the story there just because it goes long, and then also the voice was oddly loud, and since I'm using I'm using one thing to record the screen, and I'm using one other thing to record my voice, and since the voice that was telling me the story was so loud, that would really mess up the voice capture. So I've just decided to cut out the story. Don't worry, I will explain it all to you. It's fairly simplistic to get, and like I've said, I don't know the full story beyond what I've played. So we are going to discover it together. But yeah, first we gotta hop into character creation, and you know what? I'm gonna stick with this powerful looking lady. She's a tiny bit slim. She's a tiny bit skinny. Yikes, she's not all that clothed either. We can make her stocky, strong looking, or tall. Oh, this one looks like she's a model. You know what? I want to be a model. I want to be a beautiful model going through this fantasy world. What's next? Okay, ooh, we get to choose what our face looks like. And we're a dude. No, I'm just joking. How about we go for who looks the coolest? Oh, girl. I do like this. Anyone else? No, I really like this lady. She is very okay. Yeah, we are choosing this woman as our portrait. Hair color, we can go brown. I like brown, gray, white. I don't know. Yeah, I'm gonna stick with probably brown because it looks cool. Any hair options? Oh, we do have hair options. We could do the braid. Kind of don't like the braid. Makes her head look sort of beehive-ish. Okay, ooh, you know what? That looks very put together. Oh, but this one has a braid around. Oh, and it ends in a little pony. You know what? We are going for this hair color, or style, because she looks fabulous. And then, ooh, female aggressive. Yeah, I guess we can keep it. And then, oh, tattoos. Oh, I didn't know there were... See, I've not played a lot of this, so I've not known that there were, like, a whole bunch of tattoos in this game. Oh. Secondary? Is that secondary? Oh, okay. That looks fierce. Okay, we're keeping this. We're keeping this. I like her face. Face. Oh, whoa. Whenever I change her face, there's like a tectonic shift in her body. Okay, we're gonna keep her face. I don't know. We're going with that one, whatever one it is. Okay, so next we move on. I think we've gone through everything. Yeah. Okay. Next. Oh, now we see how we join. Okay, so yeah, basically the story is okay. Oh, here we are. So yeah, the story is basically there's this big like emperor, he's overlord. His name's Kairos. He's taken over the entire continent except for this one little place that we're going in to conquer. And he sent two of his armies, we'll meet them a tiny bit later, in to like conquer them. And then also he needs some justice in there because I mean you can't govern a newly conquered land without some good old-fashioned justice. So we are something called a fate binder, and we are basically like a minion of this guy called the Archon of Justice. I think his name, oh yeah, his name is Tunon, the Archon of Justice. So yeah, so we are basically his agent. We're kind of like a judge, jury, and executioner in the game. Um, so yeah, you basically make a lot of big decisions because you are fairly influential in the army. So yeah, we are a very important person, but we first need to know how we joined this army. So I've done a bit of thinking, and when I went into this earlier, I went into it with a really heavy character with a giant ass sword. So I kind of want to switch it up. I want to go for like magic because magic is like really cool. I like magic, and I think it's fairly intuitive in this game. So I'm going for magic. I could have petitioned you guys, but literally there are probably like 5 of you. Well, actually there are 58 of you. Going by views on my last video, on my last completely awful video. So yeah, we're going with War Mage, and then now I think we have to choose. Oh yeah, and now here you go for like we need to choose how we're going to fight. So last time I went in with a great sword, which was like really badass, and it was actually like pretty cool. I like wrecked shit. So I shouldn't say that. Sorry. Sometimes I do swear. I'm sorry if any of you are offended by that. I'm sorry, but I mean I won't do it a lot. So just you've been warned. So yeah, this is what I went into it with last time, but now I think I'm going to go Frost or Shock. Shock has you have the chance to paralyze people, so I kind of want to do that. I kind of want to be like really specialized, so I'm gonna go with a shock spell kind of mage woman. And then secondary expertise. I looked into this, and if I secondary also in shock stuff, I get an extremely powerful ability called Charge Strike, and it like knocks people down, and it does a lot of damage. So I'm doing that because it is, well, I really liked it. I really like the sound of it. So I know I would have liked to maybe have gone for a Vigor or Atrophy spell, but I mean, I can learn those later. So next, and now, oh, now we just choose our colors. I mean, with her tattoos, I really like that, like, turquoise aesthetic. Plus it, oh wow, it actually goes really nicely. And then do I want my main color? Oh god. No, okay, we're gonna stick with a darker color for our primary color. I mean, white looks okay. It looks like it looks slightly like I'm going into like a VR capture space, you know, and like if you see behind the scenes of Avatar how they have those balls around them, it looks slightly like I'm in one of those suits. So no, we're gonna stick with a darker color scheme, gray or black. I kind of like gray. We're gonna go with gray. And then our banner back here, I'm not exactly sure what our banner does. I think it's just an aesthetic thing. I don't know where it shows up even. So I guess I can just choose, since I'm a magic person, is there anything like magic-y here? I mean, this looks pretty mystical. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'll just go with like something fairly generic looking. Yeah, I might as here. Since we're whoa, what just happened? Oh, go back. Since we're magic-y, we're gonna go with sparkles. We're sparkly. So, let's go white banner, blue, green, blue. Yeah, I like blue. Okay, white banner with blue sparkles on it. I really like it. So we're gonna go with that. And then moving on. I know I'm blasting through character creation, but I mean the character creation isn't the most engaging thing. It's pretty boring just to watch. So I'm gonna blast through it fairly quick. Conquest, as you see, like right up here, like these four little things. That's where it gets engaging. It's really fun. I'll probably read that out, and that will be like the end of me being completely serious for these videos because like I don't know, I'm gonna do voices and stuff like that. It's gonna be fun. Okay, what are we gonna name this woman? You know what, I feel like this powerful woman needs a powerful name. Louise, you are our champion. So Louise, the shock mage. Okay, so what is this little thing? Ooh, okay, the attribute is strongly recommended. Okay, I like that actually. Okay, so I guess we need to be quick and witty to be a shock mage. So we're gonna go with a quick and witty person. Vitality, I'm gonna guess that's health. Yeah, okay, so we're gonna go with a tiny bit of vitality, some finesse, and then I have 2 more points, so I might as well become even more quick, even more witty as Louise. Now, okay, so then this is basically the same thing. We choose attribute, like skills and attributes and stuff so that we can power ourselves up. So, naturally I want the magic staff because the woman behind this box is holding a magic staff, so we're going to power that up quite a bit. Probably not to 40. Sure, we'll leave it so that we have 10 skill points left. And then control lightning, that's probably pretty important since, we are lightning mages. And 5 points, so then we can give 5. You know what, we're going to give 3 to dodge because it looks like it's fairly important, and 2 to lore so that we have 40 in 2 of our categories. So, I really have no idea exactly what these do. I'm not a hardcore video game player in the way that I'm like, I need to like max out everything. So, this is just what I'm going to go with because it seems logical. So, now we get into the super fun stuff. So, this is where player choice comes in. I'm just going to jump right into it because Conquest is super fun. But, basically you, like, since you are trying to conquer this whole area called the tiers, you basically go through how the first years of the Conquest go. And then the rest of the game is trying to, like, clean up little areas and, like, I don't know what the rest of the game is because, like I said, haven't seen much of it, but this is basically the very first piece of gameplay. So I'm not sure if I'm going to cut out more of the story. It depends if the woman's voice is loud again, but yeah, let's head right in. Okay. So, all of the world has fallen to Kairos, and now the Overlord's eye is on the tiers, our home, the last corner of the world free of Kairos' reign. 2 armies, the Disfavored and the Scarlet Chorus, march south from the Northern Empire, the last realm to fall to Kairos a century prior. Okay, so the woman's voice is not loud, so I'm going to read this. The lady is very English, so I'm going to try. In the early days of 428, Kairos' armies arrive at the gates of judgment, the mountainous border that we tiersmen so long believed unassailable. Unable to agree on a unified plan of defense, the various leaders of the tiers sit and wait for each other to deal with the conquerors, until it is too late. So, this is where we get to the world map. So, yeah, I'll just read for now. You'll get the idea of what it's like. So, Conquest. Oh, this is just describing it. Perfect. During the Conquest, you will decide your character's actions during Kairos' invasion of the tiers, shaping the world through which you will adventure over the course of the game. Each choice you make affects your character and how major factions of the tiers respond to you. Your decisions matter. Choose wisely. So, basically, this gets us to be... like, this starts shaping our image in the game. Like, if we are kind or if we are like a real asshole or something like that. So yeah, and then the first little part of the conquest is the Bastard City, like the mountain fortress that guards this whole tiers area, like this whole like tiers area. These are the tiers. Welcome. Anyway, so I'll keep reading. The Bastard City stood on the northern border between Kairos' empire and the Tiers, built upon a natural harbor at the crossroads between realms. The city was a nexus of commerce. To the Tiers, it was the center of all wealth. To a northerner, it was little more than a backwater trading post. Its symbolic status as a gateway to the continent made it a natural first target in Kairos' military conquest. Circumstances were ideal for you to prove your worth as a soldier in Kairos' armies. Taking the city would send a message to the rest of the Tiers. Kairos' will is unsurmountable. So, this is where we get to choose what exactly we do. So we can be on, like, the front line, or we can go infiltrate the Tiers. Both armies sent their forces to prepare the way. So, basically, we either choose to go in with, like, scouting parties that come in before the main armies, or we choose to, like, go straight into the fighting. I want to go straight into the fighting, because that is the most fun. Okay, so the armies of Kairos took the battle to the Gates of Judgment, trumpeting the opening call of the conquest of the Tiers. The two armies, the Disfavored and the Scarlet Chorus, brought their distinctive sense of order and chaos to the assault. You went to battle alongside the armies whose approach suited your strengths. So, now this is where we get introduced to the two main, like the two biggest factions in the start of the game. It's the Disfavored, which is they're purple colored. They're really organized. They're really regimented. They're harsh. They're basically like stony and stuff like that. They're not all that versatile. And then the Scarlet Chorus, colored red because they're the Scarlet Chorus. They're basically just a mob of just prisoners, slaves, soldiers, whoever, who just basically get thrown at the enemy. So I can basically go with order or chaos. So usually last time I chose the Scarlet Chorus, but I'm going to choose the Disfavored this time. So standing shield to shield with Kairos' ironclad elite, you advanced on the mercenary army purchased by the nobles of the Bastard City. The Legion wanted to send a message to the Tiers that superior breeding and disciplined training would win the day. Superior breeding? So right now, poor Louise is siding with eugenicists. So, I guess we'll see how well Louise does. Okay, the Bastard City learned too late that a military is earned and never bought. The mercenary army quickly retreated, and then, yeah, so basically we overpower them by being superior with that superior breeding we just heard about. So, eugenicist for the win. Okay, so then we come into the second part of it. So, do I feed the armies, or do I decide what to do with enemy soldiers? You know what, let's feed our armies, because, like, you can't fight on empty stomachs. Okay, so, against the most optimistic projections, the Disfavored and the Scarlet Chorus made short work of the local defenses. They did so well that the armies quickly outpaced their supply caravans. Troops were plentiful, but food was scarce. You only had time to execute one plan to secure provisions. Now this, for all those of you who are looking to conquer the world with an army, is an extremely bad idea. Usually you want to make sure that you have food, or at least that you don't outrun your food. So, not only is Louise working with eugenicists, she's also working with poor strategists. Let's see, okay. Pillage farmlands, okay. So we could be criminals, or confiscate merchant caravans, or we could just be dicks. You know what? What does confiscate? You authorize disfavored troops to confiscate food and supplies from traveling merchant caravans. The Tiers had already spent ignorant centuries glutting themselves outside of Kairos' law. You know, I really feel like stealing their merchants' goods is not really the greatest idea to keeping them nice and calm. Well, then I guess neither is burning and pillaging from the countryside. So you know what? We'll go with the lesser of two evils and start stealing from their merchants. Okay. After raiding the wagons of unsuspecting caravans and securing days' worth of provisions and supplies, the Disfavored found a cache of goods behind a hidden panel. They confiscated potions and elixirs bound for secret contacts within the Bastard City. The hull filled the disfavored larder with provisions for the following year, and denied the defenders of the Bastard City's supplies that would desperately be needed in the siege to come. Ooh, so not only have I found some cool potions and stuff, but I've made it easier to conquer the Bastard City, so this is going well. Okay, taking the Bastard City. The armies of Kairos amassed around the Bastard City, the first bastion of the Tears to fall. Both armies longed to storm the walled outpost, the Scarlet Chorus howling for plunder, and the disfavored forming an unbreakable shield wall. Your prowess on the field of battle had carried them this far, but there was one more step to total victory. Both of the armies had inspired schemes to take the Bastard City. Which do I support? Okay, so then this little icon here, I could either go with the Scarlet Chorus, I could go with the disfavored, or I could go, this is my symbol, or I could go with, my own path. Now, I think this gives me an ability. What is it? So I could sneak, so I take both people, and then I sabotage their defenses. I could just take the Scarlet Chorus, and I could burn their city, which probably wouldn't be the best idea for making them like me, and it gives me fire magic. I don't want fire magic, I want shock magic. Or I could do the disfavored thing in just basically a head-on assault. What ability does this give me? Where is your spite? Whoa, okay. So I take less damage and I recharge health. Okay, so, even though I've chosen the disfavored, twice already, depending on who you choose, they like you a bit better in the actual game. So, I mean, even though I'm not going to make a lot of friends on the Scarlet Chorus right now, I need that ability because it is really good. So we're going to go with a direct assault with the disfavored. Okay, so with heroic courage and legendary determination, the disfavored battered the gates of the Bastard City to splinters. Those who fell under the consistent hail of arrows or cascades of boiling pitch left the battlefield temporarily, only to appear hours later as Archon Graven Ash's protection healed their numerous wounds. In time, the gates gave way, and Kairos' forces spilled inside the city walls with resounding cheers of victory. So, this we get into the leaders of various factions and stuff, and very powerful people are called Archons. The Graven Ash is just the disfavored Archon. So, yeah, they're powerful people, basically. So, next. So, look at that, my friends. We've taken the Bastard City. Louise has sided with eugenicists 3 times. We've robbed merchants. And we have, and we've also gotten a great ability. So, I mean, turns out Louise is turning into a fantastic example of a person. So, in my first playthrough, I went with Lethian's Crossing, which was actually pretty cool. It gives us iron, but I want to see what happens in Apex, because Apex, seems pretty cool. So we are going to go into Apex. So this is the second phase of the Conquest, a year later, I think. Yes, it is a year later. Okay, so, year 429. This is going to be a very long video, I'm sorry, but I mean, you guys can click away if you want. If you want to watch the whole thing, be my guest. If you want to hear my beautiful, abrasive voice more, you can stick around. Okay, so, the videos will be shorter as we go into this playthrough. So, the mountain nation of Apex, ruled for generations by the Queen of House Vendrian, stood at the heart of the Tiers. No armies could bypass the landlocked realm without leaving their flank exposed to attack. By the second year of the war, the Disfavored and the Scarlet Chorus had pushed deep into the Tiers. Elements of both armies were dispatched to conquer Apex. Tunon, that's my big boss, assigned you to accompany them, tasked with bringing Kairos' law to the territory, as well as keeping an eye on both armies. So, we get into this again. We could either, the Battle of Edgering Pass, we could go into battle, or Denial of Strength. A new school of mages. Since we're magic, I feel obligated to go into the magic path. Okay, a school of, water mages, loyal to the Tiersmen, posed a substantial threat. The Disfavored wished to annihilate the school, while the Scarlet Chorus insisted on capturing the mages and wishing to learn their craft. Okay, I don't want to wipe them out, because if they have magic, I can learn magic, because I'm a shock mage. Louise wants to keep these people. We're going with the Scarlet Chorus. Okay. Though countless lives were lost taking the mages into custody, the Scarlet Chorus praised your name as they dragged the beaten elders of the school to the Voices of Nerat's tent. The Voices of Nerat is the Archon and leader of the Scarlet Chorus. As a wave of screams and incoherent pleas reached their crescendo, the Scarlet Chorus soldiers outside cheered for their Archon. The disfavored adjourned to their camp in a grim silence, claiming the chorus lacked the will and desire to fully wipe out all traces of the enemy school. So the disfavored are now pissed at me, but I really helped them out at the bastard cities, so, I mean, they can bite the bullet here. Plus, they're eugenicists. I don't want to side with eugenicists. Okay, so, basically we've kept the water mages. Hopefully that makes me able to learn some water stuff. So, poisoning the well, or a captive captain. I like that. We're gonna go. You know what? We're gonna go with a captive captain because we might be able to use this person. Okay, so let's see. When Kairos' forces captured a celebrated enemy hero, the armies bickered over his fate. The disfavored wanted him set free to convince his peers of Kairos' mercy, and the Scarlet Chorus wanted him flayed and staked as an example. Well, that's not a really good idea. You know, if I really, like, you know, usually when you conquer a place, again, more advice for those of you who want to conquer the world, our first piece of advice was don't let your soldiers outrun their supplies. And now, if you want to keep that place conquered, you know what, I really think that you should show them just a tiny bit of mercy. So you know what, we're going with more disfavored. The disfavored are going to love me after this whole conquest thing is done. You agreed with the disfavored plan to send the enemy captain back with a message. All those who surrendered or cooperated would be treated with deserving respect as subjects of Kairos' peace. I really like that because that makes it possibly less so that there will be bloodshed in the future. So, the captive captain, shocked by your clemency, the enemy captain vowed to deliver his message in full, and paid his respects before departing for his encampment. Though typically more uncompromising, the disfavored praised your innovative thinking. The Scarlet Chorus despised what they viewed as resources wasted, only to release a known enemy back into the wild. I kind of agree with that, but also, since he's, like, really happy that I'm letting him free, as anyone naturally would, it's cool that he's delivering his message. He might not, but, you know, I mean, it's always nice to give him a chance. Call this making up for siding with eugenicists. Louise is a tiny bit merciful. Okay. The fall of Apex. With the defeat of Apex and inevitability, the armies of Kairos met to discuss how to put an end to this stage of the conquest. Both armies agreed to send an offer of parley, along with their acceptance. The enemy requested that you appear at the meeting. Word of your fair dealings had apparently spread to their ranks. You know what? Releasing that captain was a good idea, because now we basically don't have to fight them anymore, because they're surrendering. Awesome. So, how did you orchestrate the surrender of the realm of Apex? So, more. Ooh, I don't get my own option for this one. So, let's see. Through days of mediation, you negotiated the surrender of the valley to Kairos' forces, putting an end to further bloodshed, or taunting the Queen of Apex into striking you under a banner of truce, you baited the Queen of Apex into a duel and slew her, frightening her vassals into submission. You know what? We showed them mercy, and now we also show that we're dominant. You know, this is pretty cool. We're sending them mixed messages. They don't know what to expect. So, more conquering advice for those of you out there. Make sure that they also know that you're pretty strong. So, you know what? Since we made up for that eugenicist thing, Louise is going to become a murderer and kill a queen. You know, why not? Let's go for it. So now the Scarlet Chorus is going to love me a bit more. The Scarlet Chorus urged you to show the Overlord's strength by any means necessary. During peace talks, a well-placed insult goaded the Queen of Apex into striking you. You responded to the slight by challenging her to a duel. Ooh, a duel. Though the Queen was skilled in battle, your field experience outmatched her court training. As her body lay cooling, on the ground, you demanded that her followers kneel before the Overlord's banner. Unable to rise above the fear of the moment, the remaining leaders capitulated, surrendering their valley to Kairos' forces. So, you know what, Louise, you're a badass. I don't care if you are a murderer. You are a badass. Okay. A eugenicist badass. Okay. So, then we have a third phase of the conquest. This video is already running into, like, I don't know if it's going to be an hour. I really hope that it's not going to be an hour, but hey. Okay, so do we go for Azure? I did Azure, first, in my first playthrough. I didn't really like it. Basically what you do is you ruin their whole farmland, which I mean, I could probably avoid making different decisions, but you know what? I want to choose different places. So, Valum Citadel or Stalwart. With its easily defended position and rich military tradition, the realm of Stalwart was the most. Ooh, I like that. So now we can crush their like most strong people. I kind of like this. Okay, so ooh, you're 430. So we've taken a very brisk 3 years to conquer a full, basically, country. Okay, um, Stalwart. The realm of Stalwart. Ooh, I am going to stumble over that word. Was best known for its proud army, disciplined, courageous, and undefeated on their home soil. Skill and resolve made Stalwart a military power that Kairos' forces approached with due caution. With its southern position, Stalwart had been largely safe from war, watching for 2 years as its neighbors fell to Kairos' forces. On the dawn of the third year of the war, Kairos' forces were finally poised to invade the Stalwart Peninsula and subdue the tier's most vaunted enemy. Okay. Or army, not enemy. So, this is going to be tough, I'm going to guess, because they're super strong. Okay, so marching on empty. Tragedy, yeah. Struck when hungry Scarlet Corps soldiers appropriated disfavored supplies. Awesome, so basically our armies are stealing from each other now. Or, a contentious setback. A stinging defeat led to accusations among Kairos' armies. Okay, so we either have to deal with people stealing from their own army, or we have to deal with defeat. So, you know what? Let's make sure that this defeat is twisted in a cool light. Okay, so a contentious setback. After a defeat at the hands of enemy defenders, the Scarlet Chorus, accused the disfavored of recklessness. The disfavored claimed the Scarlet Chorus brought too few soldiers to cover their flanks. Both armies refused to march until you gave a ruling. So, basically, throughout the first part of this game, be prepared for a lot of pettiness and a lot of complaining and finger pointing. Okay, so what did the disfavored say? Knowing the disfavored's reputation for discipline as well as the Scarlet Chorus powers to instill fear and frenzy, you decided that Scarlet Chorus was in the wrong, or lacking proof that the Scarlet Chorus recruits were negligent, you punished the disfavored commander for his failure and for bringing charges without evidence. You know what? I don't like just baseless accusations. I mean, of course, the Scarlet Chorus accused the disfavored of recklessness, but then also, like, the Scarlet Chorus has a pretty good point making here. Okay, so we'll go with the Scarlet Chorus for this one. So, Graven Ash was the first to step forward to dispute your ruling, so basically the leader of the disfavored. He argued that the Scarlet Chorus were a directionless menace. Ooh, always good to say to your allies. Again, people out there who are conquering, definitely call your allies a directionless menace. If you want to insult them, do it. Just do it. See how that goes over. Directionless menace, sowing chaos and disorder wherever they went. Nice words. What further evidence did you need? After you politely reminded him that his opinions were inadmissible, he stormed out of camp with a unit of soldiers and didn't return for several hours. Okay, so I've really pissed off their leader, but that's okay. Okay, so what happens next? Let's see, why are we over here? I thought we were invading from here. Anyway, okay. Negative conscription. Suspicions arose when Scarlet Chorus soldiers fought under a banner of Stalwart. You know, that's always bad, having people turning against you. And then, Fall of Regents. When an enemy commander fell captive, Kairos' armies argued over what to do with her. This is kind of like the captain thing over here. That went over pretty well, so let's see how well it'll go over now. Okay. The armies of Kairos collaborated on the capture of an enemy leader. The Scarlet Chorus requested that she be interrogated by the Archon of Secrets, that Voices of Nerat guy. The disfavored wished to display her corpse in... Really? Her corpse in battle? Since the stalwart defenders refused to surrender, a gesture was needed to instill fear. You know, I really don't think displaying her corpse in battle will do much to make them scared. Like, I think that would make them more angry. And also, like, really? You're eugenicists and you want to display her corpse in battle? Let's see what interrogating her does. You ordered that the enemy commander to send to the Voices of Nerat for interrogation. Ooh, excuse me. Okay, let's see. Like so many enemy prisoners, the stalwart regent vanished inside the Voices of Nerat's tent, never to be seen again. Oh, her screams were the only evidence that she had ever passed through camp, and those went on beyond what most considered possible. Great. When at last she fell silent, the Voices invited you inside. There was no regent to be found, only a map which the voices had marked with hasty scrawls marking supposed weaknesses in the enemy defense. So, you know what? I can't believe I'm saying this, but I think displaying her corpse in battle would have probably been like the more merciful option here. Um, but you know what? Louise, eugenicist, murderer, she committed regicide. You know what? Let's keep going with it. She's a torturer now, too. Or she advocates it at least. Okay, the Edict of Storms. The disfavored carved a slow, steady path into the heart of Stalwart, surrounded by the enemy's massive forces. With the main bulk of their forces defeated, the enemy leadership retreated to their mighty fortress, content to wait out the war. Oh, of course. The Overlord answered this impudence with an Edict of Storms on the peninsula, a devastating spell that would endure for as long as the cowardly hearts of Stalwart's leaders persisted in beating. Oh, I see. Knowing before anyone else that the edict would occur, the voices of Narat lobbied for you to deliver the mighty incantation. Aside from being given a 3-day window to read the edict, you received no other instructions. So an edict is an extremely powerful thing, and to be able to read it, that's like famous. You'd be famous if you do. Okay, so next. What do I do? Really? Okay, so sorry for a little interruption. Someone rang the doorbell. You probably heard like the start of all that. But now we're back. So I've probably cut that out. Like I said, edicts are really powerful spells, and reading them makes you like very famous. So let's see how this goes over. So, agreeing with the wishes of the disfavored, you proclaim the edict at once, leaving the enemy no time to react. Stalwart had ample opportunities to surrender for several years. The time for mercy was long gone. I kind of like that. They're being kind of dickish. Or warn the people. In an attempt to ingratiate themselves with the people of Stalwart, the Scarlet Chorus insisted that warning be sent to towns and villages so that the people may prepare for the horror about to descend on them. You know, that's weirdly merciful. You know what? I think I'm going with that. This, again, I think... So, Louise is turning out to be a bit bipolar. She, like, at one point, she sides with eugenicists and she, like, kills a queen. On the other side, she's like, you know what? Let's warn the townspeople. Okay, so yeah. We will give them a bit of advance. So... Let's see. Kairos' wrath was intended for the cowardly regents of Stalwart, not those unfortunate swept up in the calamity of their leadership. A warning in advance of the spell would give locals time to prepare for the devastation to come. You were content to let punishment fall on the innocent as lightly as Kairos' will allows. Comforted that you might yet spare lives, you broke the seal of Kairos' Edict of Storms and read the Overlord's incantation. Okay, so, I'm being a bit merciful here, which is, I like that. So yeah, now the edict will basically trap them in there. I think later, I have to like start breaking them out, but yeah, for now, they're done. Okay, so let's read more. The clear skies darkened as he read the final words of the edict. A flurry of wind and rain whipped through the rolling plains and craggy canyons, turning rocks, uprooting trees, and hapless soldiers into... turning rocks, uprooted trees, and hapless soldiers into hazardous shrapnel. Armed with a measure of foresight, you were able to remove yourself from the area before the storms grew more violent. Over time, nearby communities told of cyclones consisting of thousands of soldiers' worth of limbs, spears, armors, and skulls. What's more, the weather showed no sign of dissipating. Several units of disfavored who fought the enemy in spite of the advancing storm were caught up in the Overlord's magic. The few survivors regrouped and nursed their wounds. Their failure to topple the Stalwart Legion shamed them into believing the dead more fortunate. Oh, God. The name Stalwart fell from use. People took to calling it the Blade Grave, for the remade landscape festooned with the iron and bronze armaments of two once great legions. As Kairos' forces departed, you spared a glance back at the ruins of Stalwart, marveling at your work. God, you didn't have long to rest before Tunon called you into the service once more. So, Louise is a bit hardcore. A bit hardcore. So, now, I think this is where the game begins wholesale. So yeah, Conquest complete. You have reached the end of Kairos' conquest. Do you want to continue or erase your progress and start over? So, we are going to continue with this. So, this will bring us into the bulk of the game. I think I'm going to end it here. That was a bunch of gameplay. We've got the story set up. So I think... we will click continue, but for now, I am going to sign off. So, thank you for watching. I know this will be an extremely long video. Game videos in the future will probably be a bit less long. The openings are just always fairly long. So, yeah, thank you for watching. I hope you liked this. Tell me if you did. Please subscribe, bring in your friends, bring in your family. And yeah, basically just thank you for watching. I love you all. So, we will click continue, and I will say goodbye, everyone.